this video, I'm gonna share with you 3 weird ways to match the vibration of your dream reality, and I'm gonna show you exactly how this can change your life. Welcome back to another video. My name's Aaron. I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm gonna be sharing with you 3 weird ways of matching the reality, the vibration of your dream reality, and understand your vibration is a combination of how you think, how you feel, how you act. You are getting in life a direct reflection of how you are currently thinking, feeling, and acting. So if you want to change your reality, you change your vibration. Think of it almost like a radio wave or like radio station. When you tune the station to a different dial, to a different frequency, you then pick up on a different station altogether. Well, in the same way, there are an infinite number of realities that exist. This is what quantum physics shows us. And if you want to experience your dream reality, you match the frequency of it. You act, you think, you feel as that identity, as that personality, and then you begin to see a reflection in your life of that reality. That's exactly what I did to be living the lifestyle that I do, is I matched the reality, the frequency of me being a full-time YouTuber by making daily videos, by me seeing myself this way, by thinking, feeling, and acting equal to the Aaron that you see today. It's kind of weird to speak in third person like that, but hey, it gets the point across. Actually, you know what? The first weird way, I'll just go right into it. So first, to get a little bit of context, I was at Date with Destiny, which is a Tony Robbins event. I was with my buddy Victor Odo, who's also a YouTuber. We were there for 6 days. 6 days. This was intense. I'm talking 13, 14 hours a day. You can probably hear it in my voice. It sounds a little bit different. We have been literally screaming for 6 days straight. When you first go in, it's like 11 o'clock. Tony comes on, he speaks. It's like you leave at like 1 in the morning. It's a very long day. And in the very beginning, you're just jumping around. You're constantly dancing. There's music all the time. Every half an hour, you're getting up, you're dancing, you're massaging your neighbor, they're massaging you, and it's just like you're always changing your state. You're always changing your state. Now, at this conference, the thing that you really learn is you learn how to, in a way, disidentify and to become aware of your old identity to then become the new identity. A lot of that's what it is. It's understanding the meanings that the old identity have, the beliefs the old identity have, and then becoming the new one. So one of the things we did is we did different exercises. So I'm going to be sharing a lot of this video is going to be inspired with some of that information so that you're able to kind of take some of the key things that I learned from that whole 6-day conference, which is really, really cool. It took about 2 or 3 days for Victor and I to both really absorb into it, because at first, the first 2 or 3 days, you're just dancing a lot. And you're like, this seems just, it's fun to dance and stuff, but you're like, what is the purpose of all this? But by the 3rd day, you're bought in, and there's really powerful exercises and stuff. It was really cool. And I feel like a new version of me. I felt like I became aware of certain parts of my old self that now I'm aware of. And part of that had to do with realizing how much I valued something called significance, how we all have different needs that we're run by, and significance is one that a lot of people that have been through pain in the past, they then want to feel significant. So they'll do things to become successful, and it's driven by this need to be significant, this need to stand out, this need to mean a lot to other people. And I realized that subconsciously runs part of my life. So what I did is I became aware that I could be more cool and not needy, and just be happy with being myself, knowing that I add value for being me, and I don't need to do or strive for anything. So that was kind of the insight. Now the first thing, I've been trying to change up these videos to where I go straight into the meat of the video versus rambling like I just did for 3 minutes. So the first thing that we did at one point in the Date with Destiny seminar is we give our old identity a name. So this makes you and helps you to disassociate from your old identity, the old way you were being. So say that your name is Carol, and you want to name your, there's like a lady there, this was something she did as an example. Say that you normally kind of fall into a victim story where you have pity for yourself and you want people to have pity for you. And maybe you're hardly ever aware of it, but you do it, and you're in a way kind of doing that subconsciously. Well, say there was this lady named Carol. She would do is she called her other ego, her old personality that she didn't want to be like anymore, she called it Pity Patty. Pity Patty. So Pity Patty was the one that was like sad with the sad story, and then there was like an exercise where we would actually have a gesture, a really exaggerated gesture of it. So she'd be like, oh, Pity Patty, oh no, like that. And what that would do is that would make her aware of like the exaggerated personality of Pity Patty. And then what happens is, by giving it a name and realizing that's not who I am anymore, then what happens is, as you go through life, you'll become aware of it, and then you'll remember this Pity Patty with this pattern of going like this. And then what happened is, this exercise we did there is we would do that, and then we would do the new version of us. So maybe the new version was like, I don't know, like this, like just surrendered or something like that. And that physiology change in the body, that breaks and scrambles the pattern of the old identity. So what she would do is, every time she'd catch herself, maybe she'd do some type of gesture and put her hands up like this, and remember, that's not who I am anymore. I've already actually used this. Anytime I become aware of my need for people to recognize me or to notice me, what I do is I scramble it, and I remember that's the old me. That is Aaron. Okay, my name was Aaron. If you remember the series I had, the vibrational series, there's 3 different versions of me where I show 3 different perspectives from 3 different vibrations, and there's Aaron, Aaron, and Erawan. So what I did is I became more and more aware of Aaron. So one weird thing you could do to match the frequency of your dream reality is, first off, become aware of the old reality and give it a name. And when you give it a name, you can blame, you don't have to blame anybody, but you gotta get the idea. So that's the first one. It's a little bit weird. I get it, I understand, but it's something that maybe it's weird and you remember it, you know? So the second one I want to talk about is, okay, this one thing that we did. Now, state of being. Now think of it like this. All of these different realities, we experience a reality that is equal to that vibration. Now, state of being, how you feel, is like a big part of that. You gotta think, feel, and do. Now, how you feel a lot of times will then also correlate with how you act and what you think. So it kind of bleeds into the other two. Now, one thing that we did a lot, and I'm talking about a lot in this seminar, is change our state. Change our state, which means we'd be jumping up and down, we'd be screaming so much that the voice sounds a little bit raspy. I actually kind of like it though, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why, I just do. It has like a resonance through my body as I speak right now. But you change your state. So this one thing we do, it's called making your move. Okay, making your move. My voice sounds cool. So this is what you do. Tony would do this like every hour or so, or less, or even some of the other people that were teaching it as well, that were like guest speakers or whatever. But what you do is he's anchoring in a move that we have that when we do gets just filled with power and passion. It's called an anchor. So what happened is, for him to help us set these anchors, we would then be in peak state. We'd be dancing, going, oh! And then what happened, he goes, make your move. And when he says make your move, you have to do some type of gesture. My gesture was like, I go like this and go, yes. Like, yeah, I wish you could kind of see it, but I'm like, yes, like this. And then Victor's is like the same thing. He's like, gets into it, he goes, yes. And some people's would be like, yes, or like, you know, whatever move you have, but this puts you in a certain state. It almost, because of you were doing it so much in a high state of jumping around, your body will naturally start doing it even if you're not jumping around. So you could be at the grocery store and you go, yes. And then when you do that, you then prime yourself and you're in that high vibe state. So we would constantly, you know, anytime before we would do something, he'd be like, make your move, yes, make your move, yes, say yes, 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 and you'd just be super excited doing it. And when you do it, it increases your state, and then you feel really good about anything you do. I've used it already when I'm not feeling like I want to do something specifically. I'll then do that, and it will then help me to increase my vibration. Well, then I feel like, oh, I can get through anything. If you're feeling sad, you know, a lot of it is as well. I was talking to one of the trainers afterwards, who's actually a real cool guy, and he was telling me that a lot of times you'll look at, you give me some like insider information. It's like, look at when Tony's interventioning with someone. He will many times just try to change their state. If someone's crying, what I'll do is I'll just say, hey, come to the aisle, and then they'll walk to the aisle. And as they walk, they're changing their state, you know. Or hold this, and then what Tony does is he'll be talking to them, and he'll scramble and say weird things that make them think. He was talking to this Italian lady last night, and she's like, she's like, you know, it was funny. She was like, he's like, oh, ba ba da ba ba. He was like talking like this, right, to this Italian lady. And it was like really funny. It was just joking around, right? And because she was like saying, I didn't get a breakthrough, and then he was like helping her break through, because it was like at the end, it's like, who didn't get a breakthrough? And like 14 people stood up, or 22 people stood up out of 5,000, and she was like, you know, he was like doing blah 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 blah. And at one point, he goes over and he goes, hey, question, what is sad spelled backwards? She goes, D-A-S. Goes, okay, and he just walks away. It's like, why did he do that? Why did he do that? But what it was, I think, is it was just it was a way of breaking the pattern of she's like, I am significant and haven't gotten a breakthrough. He pretty much said anybody that didn't get a breakthrough wants to feel significant. That was kind of the idea. And in a way, I could see how that maybe is the case. But anyways, that's another weird way, is change your state. Find your own anchor. You know, every beginning of every video, I go, you guys don't really see this because this part's edited out. I go, all right, guys, go like this. And I go, welcome back to another video. My name's Aaron. I help people expand their consciousness. When I go like this, I get to a flow state because I've done it for 1,000 videos. I go in the grocery store. I'm sitting there getting almond milk, okay? And then I go, I'm gonna get the almond milk. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm in a flow state. And I just naturally flow and get it, and I just mosey and float on over to the checkout, okay? Wherever, basically all I'm saying is whenever I do that, I just get into this massive like flow state. So sometimes I'll do it just randomly, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in a flow state now. But that's a trigger. And I kind of knew that. I started it, I didn't really know what I was doing, but subconsciously I think I did know that that would help me prime myself. And now I'm primed for these videos. So now, the third and final weird way that you can match the vibration of the reality you want is by saying like a word that snaps you out of the old reality. So a word, a specific word. And for me, what is the quality that you want to change about yourself? For me, one of my qualities is I want to be more playful. I've realized that the more important and successful I've become by making videos and, you know, my lifestyle and stuff, the more serious life becomes. It becomes so serious. I need people to take me seriously. I'm not just a YouTuber, okay? I'm much more than just a YouTuber. Significance, right? And but I become more serious the more I focus on business stuff, website stuff, all this stuff. It gets very techy and heady. So I have a word that you guys may have heard me say. The word is belly button. I say the word belly button, which is like this dumb word, but I have a whole story behind it. I don't remember which podcast episode I explained it in, but I do explain the belly button story. But there's a meaning behind it, and it's like almost like a pattern interrupt for people. I used to basically work at Barney's, New York, and I would say belly button at some point in between conversations, in between word sentences I say, when you wouldn't even belly button hear it. You see what I mean? See what I did there? If you don't know it's coming, a lot of times the brain just glosses over the word belly button. But I used to do it to see how many times I could see it talking to someone before they notice. And it was kind of a dumb thing I did to have fun and loosen the mood. But belly button for me, when I say it, it makes me more playful. So if I want to match the dream reality, becoming more playful, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna belly button do it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna say it, and that's just what I do. But the key is for people not to, you know, you wanna see if you can kind of like say it without people noticing it, so it kind of makes it fun. There was one time the store manager called of Barney's, when I was working at Barney's, New York. The store manager was a very, very serious guy, and if he would have known I said that, I would have gotten so much trouble. But basically what happened was he was calling down to the department, and he would call, and every time we picked up, he'd be like, Barney's, New York, women's shoes, this is Aaron, how may I help you? Wow, I still remember that. How may I help you? And I could see on the caller ID it was him. His name was Gabriel. So I saw he was calling. So I said, Barney's, New York, belly button Aaron speaking, how may I help you? And I would do that to him. I'd do that to other managers, and they never noticed. But it was my way of like loosening up. I would have really gotten in trouble if I would have done that. But the idea is it loosens up and it reminds me of that playfulness. So now what I do in this reality right here, is I was taking a shower. I was like, oh, I want to loosen up. And anytime I think of the word belly button, it kind of loosens me up, makes me have more fun. And that's a way that it brings that quality of the ideal version of me. The ideal version of me has fun along the process of success and significance. Just mainly success, to be honest with you. But that's like the main focus for me, and that's the thing that will help me the most. And you know, here's something else that's funny about Tony's events. He goes until like 2 or 3 in the morning. I heard from one of his trainers, don't know if this is true, because as you start getting tired as heck, okay, as you start getting very tired, what happens is you start going into more of the alpha theta state. And when you're there, that's where the transformation and change happens. It's exactly the psychology behind one of the most powerful meditations I have, which is in the top of the description box, called the most powerful meditation for manifesting while you sleep. You can listen to that every night. It helps you to sleep, to drift off into that deep sleep, to drift off into that high vibrational state. That is the bonus number 4 way that you can match your dream reality, is by listening to that meditation every single night before you go to sleep. Don't take my word for it. Read the comments to see what's possible. Read it. Just click the link below, listen for 21 days, commit to that new version of you, and watch how your life begins to change. Let me know what you thought of this video. Love you guys. Peace, much love, and namaste.